What up, guys? Alchemist here, and I got something nice for you. So first off, before we get into the video, the plan fell through, y'all. People don't want to be channel members, which is okay. I understand, you know, people don't want to commit to the channel right now. Completely understand. But a setback is a setup, and I decided I want to change my plan to hitting a subscriber goal instead of a member goal, even though the member goal was easier. But we're gonna do a subscriber goal, right? If we hit 7,000 subscribers before what it's called, Edge of Fate, I'll do a Warlock and Titan character, so y'all start getting Warlock and Titan builds on this channel as well. Even though I'm a 100 main, always till the day I die. You're mostly gonna be getting 100 mains, but builds. But you know, I'll bring some Titan and Warlock in there. If we hit 8,000 subscriber goal, I'll try to solo every dungeon in the game. I never actually tried doing that. I'll try doing that for you guys. If we hit 9,000 subscriber goal, I'll try to hit Ascendant in competitive. I'll be in that mug every day, sweating my balls off, trying to go Ascendant, even though we know competitive playlist is terrible. And if we hit 10,000, by the time Edge of Fate come out, I'll officially be a full-time Destiny content creator for you guys, without a doubt, 100%. All right. But let's get into this build. Today we're making a build with Ophidia Spathe, I believe you pronounce it? Spatula? This is the build we were going with. I never made a build this exotic, so I wanted to. And I ended up going and play testing with it, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty strong. So the perk on this the exotic perk on this exotic is Scissor Fingers. Gain a second knife per charge. So you get 2 melee charges instead of 1 on your solar class. Right, and then getting a final blow with a thorn knife grant consecutive knives, temporary stacking bonus, which is like it stays on 5 seconds, and the max stacks give you 100% bonus damage with the knife, so double the damage. And then Gambler's Die refreshes the bonus timer, so if it's 5 seconds, I shade step on 1 second, it'll put it back to 5 seconds. Okay, now the exotic I paired with this is my favorite fusion in the game, Bastion. Reason being is because Bastion, whenever you do max pellets on an enemy, you get 1-2 punch as the perk, and that makes the knives do even more damage. So I already get 100% more damage with getting the stacks on the knives up, and then if I do this with Bastion, it'll make it that the 1-2 punch buff the knife damage up as well. And then not only that, throwing a knife at an enemy will buff up this weapon for a time period, making this gun do more damage. So I feel like the gameplay loop was 100% there in this build. Throwing knife, getting radiant, making Bastion do more damage for particle reconstruction in the artifact. So I just felt like the synergy was there. I put on Ever in Action, so we still have a solo weapon on us with Heal Clip and Incandescent. And then Watchful Eye just on for the bow charges are nice, but it's just different champions. If we weren't dealing with champions, then 100% you'll have on Hazard's Vengeance in your build. So I'll just have this on in the actual dim link itself, right? Now, artifact. In the artifact, you want to be rocking Unstoppable Rocket Launcher, Overload Machine Gun, depending on which one you got to interchange with champions, and then Piercing Sidearm for the sidearm. Even though you have Radiant on non-stop, it's still good just to know that the sidearm going to pierce the barriers no matter what. Second, we got Overclock, Load, and Legend Incarnate. This buffs up the Hazard Vigilance damage, and then this just helped the machine gun to reload quicker and better handling, because there was nothing else in the artifact you can go with in this build. So that's what I went with. Third column, we got on Dielectric, just to do Dielectric flashover and Defibrillating Blast combo. That's the only reason. But we in third column, you want to have on Perpetual Destruction, so if you are using Hazard Vengeance, you can spam rocket launchers just to have in your back pocket to kill the enemies in the room quicker. We got Gold from Lead on for more ammo for the heavy, and then we got Dreadful Finisher to have more special ammo for finisher moves we do to the champions and stuff. And then we got Flashover on, like I said. And then of course, last column you want Particle Reconstruction on, so that Bastion do more damage while it shoots its pellets at enemies, so it get even more improved damage. Subclass, what we got going on is Gambler's Die to get our melees back quicker. We got Blade Barrage on. You can go to any super you want. I just have Blade Barrage on just because, hey, we throwing knives, might as well go into the knife fantasy, right? We rocking Knife Trick, which when you throw a fan of knives, it scorches the targets. But the main reason we're rocking this, when you scorch targets, the scorch damage is equal to whatever buff you have on when it comes to a exotic perk or a weapon perk. That's the damage that the scorch does. So if we have 100% increased melee damage from our exotic, it 100% increased the scorch damage as well. And Knife Trick does the scorch. So this make our knives do even stronger with the scorch damage with the fragment on that make it that scorch applies more scorch to targets. So this makes it that Knife Trick is even more deadly and harder in content. But not only that too, if you get headshots with Knife Trick, it does a lot of scorch. It does like 60 scorch per precision shot you hit with the knife, compared to the usual 30 that it does. So if you do only 20 that does, I mean, but with the fragment on it goes up to 30 plus 10. If you're only doing body shots with Knife Trick and all the knives hit an enemy, the max scorch stat you're gonna get is 90, which is not enough for an ignition. But if you hit a precision shot with the knife, at least one, you'll get an ignition every single time, because as long as one of the knives hit a headshot or a precision shot damage, you get plus 60 scorch instead of plus 20. And then with the with Ember Ashes on, it makes that plus 10. So it's super easy to get an ignition off when you hit the headshot with Trick Knife. So as long as you hit at least one precision damage with the knife, you will get an ignition on the enemy. So keep that in mind. And since they did a buff to the knives in the recent patch notes, which was basically they reverted the horrible aim assist that they took away from knives, they brought the aim assist back on knives and Withering Blade. So now it's easier to hit your knives now, and actually don't feel like when you throw it at enemies, just feel like just go through the enemy body and just disappear. So yeah, throwing knives feel better and throwing Withering Blades feel better on stasis. I may do a felty build again for you guys on the channel, a unique one, since they did fix the tracking and aim assist and stuff on the knives and Withering Blades now. I'm rocking Fusion Grenade just to do a combo with the Knife Trick. So if I'm ever fighting a champion, I can throw the Fusion Grenade on champion and then throw the knife, and I know that's an instant ignition. And then if I have more knives on me, I'll throw a knife again at the head and get another ignition, just to really just do some ignitions non-stop. Rocking Knock 'em Down because of the second perk, where it says while Radiant Final Blows, you're equipped to throwing knife fully refund your melee energy, so that you can just run around throwing knives all day. And if as long as your knife one-shot the enemy, you will get your knife back. But not only that, because our knife does scorch, if our knife kill an enemy, scorch an enemy, and then the enemy dies to that scorch that was applied with our knife, which is most likely will do because it's getting buffed up with our armor piece of scorch doing more damage. If the enemy dies to the scorch, you will get your knife back. And you will see in my Lost Sector run, I purposely let the enemy burn to the scorch, just get my knives back. Also, not only that, if your knife calls an ignition to kill enemies in the room through the ignition from your throwing your knife trick, if your knife trick triggers an ignition, any enemy that does the ignition will give you your knife back from your exotic. So it's very easy to keep getting your knife back. And then we got On Your Mark on just because we want the extra fragment slot. I would love to have Gunpowder Gamble on, but I need that extra fragment slot for the build. In our fragments, we're rocking Ember Searing. Defeating scorched targets grant melee energy and creates a fire sprite. Because of the way the game is coded, Knife Trick applies scorch, and even if the knife kills the enemy immediately, the scorch kicks in first before the knife kill. So the game treats it as you always killing a scorched enemy when you kill them with a knife. So you will always be making fire sprites and getting melee energy back from throwing your knives and killing people. Since we got 2 knife charges, if we have to use 2 knives to kill one enemy, we will get 1 knife back and get some melee energy back because of this aspect. And then all the fire sprites picking up give us grenade energy, so you can spam your fusion grenade whenever you want. If you don't want to rock fusion grenade, you can rock incendiary grenade instead. Or if you just want a more healing capability, you can run healing grenade. All up to you. Grenade really all up to you. I just choose more deadly approach with the fusion grenade. Empyrean, so when we get solo weapon kills or ability kills, we'll get increased dual rates to restoration and radiant. We got Emperor Torches on, so we can get radiant for this fragment. So whenever we kill enemy for our knives, we'll be proccing radiant for ourselves, and then as we killing, will keep that timer going and extending it. We got Ember Mercy on, so when we pick up Fire Sprite, we get Restoration, and then as long as we get them knife skills and making Restoration stay on longer, because of the Ember Serum, we will be making Fire Sprites non-stop to pick up for that Restoration, and then as long as we get ability kills, we make Restoration stay on even longer while picking up the Fire Sprites, extending the durability even more. And then, of course, Ember Ashes to make it last longer with the knife. But that's why you want to have your max stats on your chest piece, so that Scorch is doing more damage, leading into more ignitions and more Scorch damage, so you can just run around throwing knife non-stop, picking up Fire Sprite, Restoration going on, and just killing. I was going through Master Law Sector, killing enemies and one-shot them with the knives when getting the buff in a Master Law Sector. So yes, it works. In our helmet, we're rocking 2 special armor fighters. I want to rock 3, but sadly I didn't have the stat distribution that I needed to have max resilience and be able to have 3 special armor fighters on. So if you can, try to get 3 special armor fighters in your helmet, because we are rocking double specials in this build. Arm piece, you want to rock 3 heavy-handed, so when you're walking around killing all these enemies with knives, you're making orbs non-stop, which will help you get your super back quick. You're also gonna get recuperation when you pick up the orbs, and stacks for your armor charges. Chest piece, you want to be rocking whatever resist mods you want, you know, whatever it is. I put on melee damage resist because you won't be walking up the enemy throwing your knives to get all 3 knife hits on them. But yeah, just resist mods. Leg piece, we got on recuperation, like I said. We got on insulation, so we pick up the orbs. We got our class ability back quicker, so that if we do ever need to use our class ability to get our knives back, because we didn't get the kill with the knife, we can. So we always have uptime on our shade step. And then we got a solar surge on for our solar weapons, right? Class item had 2 time dilations on, which is wrong. I did not mean to have 2 time dilations on. I mean to have Reaper on. Reaper, Proximity Ward, and Special Ammo Finder. Finisher, I mean, Special Ammo Finisher. And yeah, that's the build. You want to be rocking 100 resilience, at least 7 mobility, and then as much grenades you want. You don't need melee, you don't need strength, because you can just chase that with your knives back, and whenever you get a knife kill while you're radiant on, you get a knife back anyway, so you don't need that. So just spec into resilience being maxed out, at least 7 mobility, and then much you can inside your grenade. And then of course recovery, some recovery, right? But you're gonna have restoration on, so you don't need to worry about recovery like that. And you're gonna make an orb non-stop from each knife kill. Anyway, that's the build. I had a ball just running around, throwing the knives, and look at the drip. Look at the drip, bro. I got the Cobra on my chest, bro. I got like some snakes on my back for the class item on, you know, the cloak on. And then, you know, I got the snakes on my arm. Like, bro, the drip is dripping right now. Dripping right now. And I didn't know what shader to put on, bro. I didn't know what shader to put on. You could have went with the Taken shader, bro. Could have went with the Cruel Song shader. Like, this just goes well with so many shaders, bro. But anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys always, man. And until next time, stay up.